As there's a drive in a deep left field by Castellanos, it will be.
Oh man, it's 8 o'clock.
And so that'll make it a.
I don't need the spotlight. I shine just fine.
Hi, I'm Karma, and yes, I am a bitch.
Brav Bros. Good afternoon, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of Brav Bros, your favorite podcast from the bros for everybody, for whoever wants to listen. I am your co-host, Steele Russell, joined as always by the one and only Wildwood McBlood. What up, dude?
McBlood?
Yeah. I don't know why.
I don't know either. I wasn't even down in Wildwood this weekend.
No, I know, but I figure it's hot as shit out, and you'll probably be down soon?
Yeah, no, I'm going to have to get back down there. It is way too hot. We are in the dog days of summer.
This is the big-time dog days.
But at least we have a pretty good lineup right now with the shows that we're watching, so we can't complain about it too much. You know, we like to complain around here.
Big complainers.
No complaints this week. We did have a week off from Jersey, which is what we're going to be recapping in this episode. I didn't even notice that we had a week off. It didn't feel like it.
No.
Kind of threw right back in.
Yeah, right back into the swing of things with a very ho-hum whatever episode, in my opinion.
Yeah.
I have a lot to say about it shortly. And as I told you before we started recording, I had an epiphany.
Yeah, I've been waiting to hear it.
I'm not telling you yet,
Okay.
but I did.
Gonna keep waiting.
I epiphanized during...
Sure.
Yep. That might be the word we get into the dictionary.
Word. Should be.
Anyway... Thanks to Jackie and Dolo, I had an epiphany, and we will get there, and I'll let you know exactly
Most
when.
unlikely duo to get an epiphany from, but yep.
Absolutely. But it hit me like a ton of bricks.
Okay.
But before we get there, we recapped OC last week, which was shockingly good. I'm excited for that season, and I just wanted to address one thing, because I saw it on X today, on Twitter.
X.
One of our listeners said that she was not loving the direction that we're going in as far as other content, this and that. I just wanted to take this opportunity to remind everybody, since we're on a Housewives show right now, we are still covering all of our Bravo shows. Don't you worry.
Oh, yeah.
We're not getting away from it. We're just adding more. So there's a plethora of things to listen to from us. And for the time being, it was just kind of a dead air time on Bravo. So we got a lot of other content. But don't worry, as shows start coming back, we will continue to cover them as we always have. One, because we know you guys want to listen to it, and two, we love watching it. So we're not getting away from our bread and butter. We're just adding more butter.
Butter.
Yeah,
Who doesn't want more butter?
everybody likes butter, so we're adding more butter.
Yeah,
Okay?
totally.
Don't worry, don't stress
Churning it out.
Yeah, we're churning, baby. We're over here churning butter for you, for all you baby birds out there. So don't stress. You'll have all the content you want and more. But let's get back to Jersey. What did you think of this episode?
I thought it was, I sort of agree with you. I feel like it was a bit ho-hum.
Yeah.
Obviously, last week there were, 2 weeks ago, I keep saying last week because I feel like I didn't miss anything. But we're still waiting for the ultimate Jen, Danielle thing to kind of pan out. And, we got a little bit of it at the end of this episode. Otherwise, not a lot going on.
Nothing happened.
Yeah.
Literally nothing happened. And they wonder why this show is spiraling down out of control. And that's why. There's nothing to offer. And the epiphany has to do with that. Again, saving it. So you have to listen to the rest of this to get it.
Yep.
That's called a teaser. That's a
Tease 'em.
That's a biz. It's part of the
Yeah.
biz. We learned that in podcasting school. But anyway, why don't we jump right in? Let's not waste any time today. I feel like we already wasted time. But we start out with Joe and Melissa, and they're at the Craftsman with Melissa's mom, who we haven't seen a whole lot of. We've gotten bits and pieces, obviously. We had that one episode where she had broken her wrist from a fall. But it looks like, she's aging a little bit. They're trying to figure out what to do next. I am hoping, and this is the only reason I'm mentioning this scene, that she moves in with Joe and Melissa, because that could be funny to watch.
That could be a lot of fun, yeah. I don't know. I think they're just giving us those individual Joe and Melissa scenes because...
Who else are they filming with?
Yeah, exactly. And again, it's the first scene of the episode. It didn't really seem like it played into anything. It's not even like Joe and Melissa were talking about their family or talking about what else is going on in the group. It was just kind of a throwaway. Like, hey, let's get Donna Marco in here and we'll just check in with her real quick, and that's it.
Yep, 100%.
Donnie Marco.
Donnie Marks. But we move on from there, and we get Marge and Dolores, and they're having a one-on-one sit-down to just clear the air after the Jackie nonsense that occurred. Because after Jackie was outed for the text message, she threw a grenade and said, well, Marge said horrible things about you and Paulie, So instead of just going rumor mill and down the line, they decided to just address it head on, which I appreciate. And we don't get a whole lot of them in this show.
No.
At least not like this, where it's genuine or as genuine as they can be, especially Marge.
Yeah, I think it's because it involves Dolores. If this involved anybody else between Marge and somebody else, we would have heard about it from 50 different people. We would have had a bunch of different side stories, a lot of different conversations and rumors being spread, and it would have been exacerbated between the groups. And then we would have had this conversation. It would have been like a 5 to 6 episode draw out. And when it's Dolores, we don't get that because she kind of keeps things, sweeps it under the rug for a little while, has it in the back of her mind, and then says, I'm going to address this head on before it spirals out of control.
Which I appreciate about Dolo. And in this scene, because it's Dolores, Marge just apologizes. There's no aftermath.
Yeah.
There's no sidestepping. She addresses it head on and says, I didn't say anything bad about you. She said, all I said was that Paulie loves Teresa and Louie because he's going to dinner with them immediately after the New York or after the reunion. So like clearly he's taking sides and doesn't want to hang out with us. And that was just a heated moment thing. I'm sorry for that. She's like, okay, did you say anything else? She goes, I did say one more thing. If David had been here, none of this would be happening or something along those lines. And Dolo's response is, yeah, because he didn't want to do anything with anybody, including me. So that doesn't help anything. The bottom line, Marge wants to clear the air. Dolores, as we've seen, history has shown, doesn't want to hold on to shit, which is very important to my epiphany later. But that's why I appreciate Dolores. And people want to get mad at her for being Switzerland. It's like, well, if she's not playing the middle of the road, nobody's talking to anybody. So thank God she's not on a team, quote unquote. And the teams, I'm so sick of the goddamn teams, especially when they're laid out later. Like when she literally says, like, so-and-so's fighting with so-and-so, so-and-so's fighting with so-and-so. It's like, yeah, this is why you don't have a show.
Yeah, this was the beginning of a very interesting Marge episode for me. Because typically we dislike Marge.
Yeah.
To put it lightly. And she's doing things that she doesn't normally do. And look, you can say maybe it's because of what her husband's going through, what she's been going through for the last year, but clears the air with Dolores. Obviously, she's not going to go toe-to-toe with Dolores. She wants to clear the air. She still did say, hey, maybe I did say something, which I actually weirdly believed.
I
that
believe
could
it
be
too.
the extent of everything that she said.
And
Jackie's going to take it, and there's some sprinkling.
Sprinkled, but nothing serious.
Nothing that we really need to draw attention to or actually talk about, so it's fine. She does this, and I think it's really important to say when Marge is in a situation with somebody like Dolores, she's going to squash it. She doesn't want that beef.
Yes.
She doesn't want that smoke from Dolores at all. When it's Jackie, she just doesn't care because Jackie's not a big player. So again, she's going to start apologizing to different people and be a nicer person. So it's really something for me to keep an eye on because if this is Marge for the rest of the season, obviously she's going to have her Teresa and Louie beef. Then she's not as intolerable. And I'm okay with that.
Whoa.
It was weird.
You had an epiphany.
It was a weird, yeah. I'm not putting...
A Marge epiphany.
Yeah, it was a Marge epiphany. I am not putting any stock in this, though.
No,
I think that she's going to flip again. I think it just matters who she's talking to, but I always think it's really funny because we saw a couple episodes ago with Teresa saying, hey, I need to point Jackie at Marge to take her down. It's not going to work. Jackie's not a big player. Nobody cares what Jackie thinks. She's going to get all upset because she didn't get a dress from a fashion show and walk out of the room. So no, you don't have to worry about her, and Marge is certainly not worried about her. So yeah, she's going to talk a lot softer. She's not going to face anything head on or try to make a stink about anything with Jackie because it doesn't really matter. Same thing with Dolores. She doesn't want that smoke. So it was a weird Marge episode for me.
Yeah, agreed. I agree with that. But we move on. We get Danny and Nate and sort of a Teresa update. And she points out... Danielle. Okay. Sorry, I don't call her Danny. I write nicknames in my notebook so I can write faster.
Yeah.
And I just read it off of there, Danny and Nate. And they're talking about Teresa, and she noticed that when things popped off the other day at the Bougie Kids party, Teresa was quick to say, you know, oh, I don't think Jen's capable of that, this and that. But she never says those kinds of things about Danielle. It's always in defense of Jen Aydin. And she's curious, would she defend me? And do you think she would?
No.
I don't either.
Absolutely not. And look, she's not even defending Jen necessarily. I think that she's just trying to keep the peace because she realizes that they are friends. And Teresa knows that she's bigger than the show and it doesn't really matter in the long run. But she does still want to keep friends around.
Yeah.
So I think it's better for her, for Teresa, a little self-serving, if Jen and Danielle could get along, because then that's more troops for her army, if you will.
Yeah,
that's really all I think she's concerned about. I don't think that she actually cares if they make up. She just wants them to be on her team still, and obviously if there's a divide, Jen's going to choose Teresa, or so we think. We'll see later. Danielle could just go to the other side, and then that's one more person on the other team. So
Yeah.
I think that's really all she's doing here. I don't think she cares. I don't think she would actively defend either of them.
The vibe I get from Danielle is that she doesn't want to be on a team. Like, she's standing alone this season. And the funnier part to me, first, that people think that we're like massive Danielle fans. I don't have any issues with Danielle. I'm not like over here lobbying for everything that she's doing. But if you look at the scope of the show as far as what people are doing and bringing that is anything other than these bullshit petty fights, she's the only one with anything going on. Melissa has her Envy fashion show, which is whatever. But other than that, what else has anybody brought us to all season of value?
Nothing. I mean, look, if Danielle really wanted to bring us value, we could dig deeper into her family because there's some weird shit going on there.
Absolutely.
But everything that we're seeing from Danielle, and like, yeah, we're seeing things that she's doing, the Kids Bop thing later this episode, the fashion show, whatever. Those are all things that she's getting because she's on this show.
So what?
So it's just an extension. Nobody's bringing anything, is my point.
Okay.
Danielle has events, sure, but there's nothing really going on anywhere.
If we dove further in, she could have a slam dunk season. If she dove further into the family stuff, then she could be the standalone star of this season. Because she's avoiding it, I agree. She's not bringing a whole lot. I just meant as far as anything other than so-and-so's fighting with so-and-so, so-and-so said something about so-and-so.
Everybody having a beautiful family.
Yeah, family. We should call this Fast and Furious 13, whatever one we're on, because that's what it's all about is family. But she's talking about the Kids Bop video, and the dad's invited. She's afraid they won't reconnect, but she's trying to, I don't know. I'm very confused about the tactics because they're going through Nate, and Nate lets it out that he looks up to Danielle's dad as like a father figure because he lost his dad. So he has but has this relationship with her dad that is important to him. So he wants to keep the peace as well. Again, that's interesting.
Yeah, there's
Let's dive
something
in.
funky going on here.
There's something fishy.
Yeah, I'm not believing it that she doesn't feel comfortable enough and Nate's going to be able to do this. Look, I get from Nate's perspective, sure, that makes sense. You're going to stand up for your wife. You're going to try to do anything that's possible for her to get through her family issues. And if you can play a role in that, then obviously you're going to do it. Sure, great, whatever. Danielle refusing to even reach out to her dad, like maybe that's what your dad's waiting for. Maybe it's you reaching out, and then he'll take it seriously if it's an invite. It's probably looking a little weird. Hey, why is your husband texting me, inviting me, and not you? There's got to be more there. And until she actually talks about it, I don't care.
That's fair. That's a fair deduction. Thank you. All right, moving on. We get a quick Jen and Teresa FaceTime, and it's the first time that she's going to see Danielle coming up, but she's not going to Teresa's event, which we find out is the first live show for Namaste Bitches, which is no longer a show because Melissa Feaster?
I was going with
Feaster. Quit because she put some blame on Louis for when he yelled at her. It was a BravoCon or something that him screaming at her may have actually caused her to have a miscarriage, or at least played a part in her having a miscarriage, something like that, led to them breaking up. They no longer have a podcast. Teresa has her own podcast now. I think Melissa has her own podcast as well. So the fact that we get this event, it's supposed to be like a standalone thing, like, oh, cool, we get Teresa's podcast. Not really, because it's no longer in service. Yeah. But whatever.
It was kind of cool from our perspective to watch a podcast show.
Yeah, that part.
We've been there.
We have. We don't
done a couple of those.
I was confused by the 10-minute break.
Yeah, I want a 10-minute break. What the fuck?
But I don't think.
Actually, no, I don't want.
No, just roll through it.
Yeah, go with the flow.
I didn't understand that. I'm not critiquing. I just was confused.
What do you think that was for, though? Is that like for the show, so they can film?
It could have been a filming break.
Yeah,
maybe. I don't know. I was confused by it. Again, not a critique, just confused.
Confused.
But Melissa's got her Envy show, and Danielle shows up, and anytime you preface it with, in any of these shows, I'm here for you, no fights. I'm like, well, something's gonna pop off.
Always.
Don't say it. And then maybe it'll come true. I don't know. But we get to Paul and Dolores, and this is where she breaks down who's feuding with who right now. And I was like, Jesus, this isn't fun. Because you got Fessler versus Fuda. You got Marge versus Jackie. You got Jen versus Danielle. You got Teresa versus Marge. You got all of these people pitted against each other. So now not only are the two heads of the families, if you will, Marge and Teresa, going back and forth, now their minions have beef with one another, and people on the same team have beef with one another. Jackie's just searching for friends, desperately trying to find a place to fit in, and doing a terrible job at it. Everything's a mess. This show's a mess. Nobody gets along with anybody, and there's nothing there to bite into.
Yeah, and I think that's what we heard when they said that there was no reunion, that nobody's getting along with anyone.
Yeah.
And we always have our doubts whenever we hear information from Bravo that gets leaked out that there's something not going on and this is the reason why. That might actually be the reason why. It's just not going to be fun at a reunion.
You know what else isn't going to be fun?
What?
Watching two separate parties watch what are they even watching?
I don't know.
Finale?
I guess they're watching
The finale, right?
There's no way they're live streaming. No, yeah, it's got to be the finale.
It has to be the finale.
Ugh.
I don't care. I can't tell you how much I don't care about that. So they can all tell us in their own room with their own people who's right and who's wrong.
They're in two separate rooms. Maybe somebody will break down the wall.
Maybe they force
Literally break down the fourth wall.
That would be worth watching. Somebody kicks the door down and is like,
Yeah.
fuck you. No, it's two parties that all get along with one another in the same room on opposite sides of a restaurant or wherever the fuck they are. So we're only going to get opinions that everyone else in the room is going to echo. Like, yeah, you're right. You're right.
Yeah,
we're all right. They're wrong. That sucks.
The only way that's entertaining is... Now, was the finale filmed at Rails? The mess with the
I
glasses
believe that-
broke everywhere?
I don't know. I think
Okay.
so. I think that's the significance of...
Because I'm trying to gauge, what level of craziness Rails is about to get into. And if they're okay with it, we could potentially get somebody ripping the doors open and running through and
No
yelling at each other.
chance.
It's a possibility. I can hold out some hope.
That's your
That's
optimistic...
the only optimism I have left.
I don't know.
know.
It just sounds so dumb to me. But we get to the Envy pre-show, and we get Frank and Brittany. We haven't got any of Frank this season.
Welcome back, Frank.
Welcome back, Frank. We like Frank. I miss Frank. And we find out, we found out a little while ago, but his dog Lolly passed away, and they were going to go to Costa Rica so he could propose to Brittany. They only had a few days left with their dog, so they decided to push that. So he's not engaged yet, but it's on the horizon. We've seen that 40-carat ring, that monstrosity that he bought. It was nice to see that Fessler and Danielle are cordial after everything that popped off at Bougie Kids. I know that was more food-centric,
Yeah.
but just the fact that it doesn't have to be a thing, I'm starting to appreciate more and more with this show. Not everything has to be a thing. We're getting closer to the epiphany, if you can feel it.
Okay. Yeah,
It's
I can
coming.
feel it. Yeah.
Can you feel it? You feel it deep down your blood.
Feeling it now, Mr. Krabs?
But hey, Fessler is still trying to defend what happened with Fuda and saying, I was just defending them. Marge finally steps in and goes, look, do you get it? She doesn't want you to, period. That's it. Let's move on from all of that. Just stop defending it. Just when it comes up, don't talk.
Yeah.
Or walk away, which we've seen you do in the past. So I'm not sure what this newfound, I'm not even going to call it courage is. It's almost confusion. And she just panic throttles and goes, bah, and just says some shit. Just walk away.
I think everybody on the cast could learn that. That would be great.
It would be lovely. They're not going to.
To a certain extent, obviously. We need some stuff, but
We need some,
Yeah.
but that's the thing. Not, nope. Yeah, don't do it
don't
yet.
do it.
Don't do it. Hey, not yet. We get Jackie and Marge and their awkward interaction where she's like, you called me a fame whore. Well, that's after you said that you were smarter than me. And she's like, I'm not going tit for tat with you. It's like, that's exactly what you're doing. You're both sitting there going tit for tat. This is annoying. But then Fuda arrives and they're talking about their dresses. And I guess Marge, Fuda, and Danielle were sent dresses from Envy.
Yes. I think Dolores was too, but she declined.
No, she asked her and said, hey, I don't want to send you anything if you're not going to wear it.
Right.
It was
right.
very...
Yeah,
it,
she declined,
it
but
didn't seem that deep.
no.
Jackie's like, well, she didn't even, you know what? I know who my friends are. I know exactly who my friends are, and I don't need this, and gets up and walks away.
And then goes and talks to Jen Aydin, says, I need to get away from those people.
Why?
Okay. A couple of weeks ago, Jen Aydin was those people.
Yes.
So what's the thing here?
She doesn't know.
She doesn't know what the hell she's doing.
She has no idea. It's such a joke that she gets so upset about the fucking dress, and that's when she walks over and Dolores arrives, and Dolores has that. I like the purse. I don't know a lot about purse fashion, but an LED, changeable LED purse, sign me up. I'll take one of those.
I
bad
saw a
boys.
couple of those on Wildwoods Boardwalk.
They probably sell them.
Yeah.
That's probably insulting Dolores' purse because it's probably expensive.
I'm okay with that though.
I'm pretty sure I've
That's
seen
what I
that.
thought when I saw it.
Like you could get one of those T-shirts they airbrush, and
Yeah.
you could buy that purse.
Absolutely.
I
One special.
I can see the store right now. I know exactly
Wait,
where it is.
Wait, hold on. Going back to the Jackie thing briefly.
Okay.
Kind of funny parallel. Not everybody got your book.
No.
You have a whole list of people that were going to get books, and then Marge was on that second tier. She didn't get a book right away.
That's
Wait,
a
you're
really
pissed
good
off that you
point.
didn't get a dress?
Because she needs something. She needs anything.
I know.
She just needs anything.
And look, Marge 1,000% did throw that comment out there about how we all got dresses. Didn't you get a dress, Jackie?
Yeah.
Just to poke the bear.
Sure.
But that's fine. That's a fucking housewife comment. Who cares? Jackie going off the rails off of that is insane.
It was such a joke. And here we go. Okay, because that scene right there.
Anytime?
Here's the epiphany, because it leads to Dolores saying everyone just looks for shit to hold on to. And that is what the problem with this show is every single one of these housewives, except for Dolores, is softer than Charmin. They cannot take anything. No criticism, no insults. They are softer than baby shit. And I am so bummed out that we've gotten to that point with Jersey, that we've gotten to that point with housewives as a whole. Everyone takes everything so personally that there's no fun moments. There's no fun retorts. There's no funny insults because every single thing is the end of the fucking world so they can play the victim for 4 fucking episodes and try to rally the troops around them. And I'm so sick of watching it. It's so played out. Everybody on this show needs to get thicker skin and get back in the fucking game. And I'm looking directly at Teresa because I'm so sick of her just not being in the game. She's so stuck on this Namaste era, this peace era, that she's bringing absolutely zero to the show. Jen Aydin is so irrelevant that she's trying to latch on to any single thing she can to try to start a fight with somebody because she knows that she brings nothing to the table. If they focused on other things other than trying to be the most butthurt person in the room across all shows right now, by the way, not just this show, but this show specifically is failing because everybody wants to be the victim. Stop being the hurt puppy dog in the corner. Put your big boy pants on, step back up to the plate, and let's get this show back on the fucking rails because I'm so done with it. I'm sick of everyone being like, oh my God, she didn't send me a dress. You didn't send me a book. Who gives a shit? It is so petty and not in a fun way. Get thicker skin. These women would be eaten alive on Miami. They would not be able to hold their own against the Miami cast because they say some mean shit and they bounce right back the next day and clap back without crying about it for 20 fucking hours. Grow up. Get back into the game, get this show back on track, and stop being so goddamn soft. I'm over it. Epiphany.
All right. I don't know if that's necessarily an epiphany. That's just feelings.
It was because it finally, no, it was epiphany because it finally clicked when Dolores said that. I was like, that's my big issue with this show is the fact that nobody can take anything anymore. They're so soft. That was my epiphany. That's why this show drives me nuts and why the fall from grace for me specifically has been so frustrating to watch. And I couldn't pinpoint why. I'm like, what is it about this show that bothers me so much? It's that. It's the fact that nobody can take anything anymore. They're just so reactive immediately. Grow up.
Yeah, and I do think that's been a lot of people on this show's MO for years now.
Yeah.
You got to write something down in your little journal. Everybody's got a journal just like you. Got to write it down in your journal. Oop, she did this to me. She did this to me. She did this to me. Some of them will hold on to it, pull it out when it's convenient for them. A lot of them now, at this point, will just throw it right back in your face. You got to let some things slide.
Yeah.
Let the big things fester, and then eventually they become something, and it's a good storyline. There is no good storyline this year. There's no good beef. There's no good argument. There's just nothing. Like, everybody's pointing to this Danielle and Jen stuff. Yeah, it was a crazy moment that happened at Teresa's party. But even after this, and like, what, we're 2 weeks removed from that, and I'm already over it.
And Jen, that's a great example. It's such a perfect example personified because Jen's like, you didn't call and check on me. Who cares?
Yeah.
Who
I mean, I'm
cares?
okay with at least trying to explore the dynamic of Jen and Teresa to see if there's actually anything there. Maybe Jen will get a conscience and say, hey, I'm maybe not that close to Teresa, or Teresa doesn't actually really care about me. And then she'll leave. Maybe that's what she's doing, testing the waters on the Melissa side.
But she,
Like going to all those parties. She's like, oh, maybe Teresa isn't as close to me as I thought she was. I need to have a backup plan here. But I think the funniest thing with Jen is we get 2 different parties here. We have Melissa's and we have Teresa's at the end. Which one does she pop off at? Teresa's. She doesn't do shit at Melissa's because she doesn't have backup there. She needs somebody there to have her back. And I think she thinks that she has that. And we'll see a little bit later. Maybe she'll like get knocked down a couple of pegs and she won't feel so high and mighty when it comes to going after Danielle, because at the Teresa event, nobody has her back.
oh, and another thing. All of these women are clearly living in the comment section to the point that we are getting responses from the cast about a video that we're posting about the show. That right there Get out of the comments. Get off of Twitter. Yeah, we're talking about you. That's our job. That's what makes this whole thing turn. People watch, people talk. That's what we do. That's how this world turns. You don't need to respond to everybody. You don't need to get lost in the comment section. Stop taking everything so goddamn personally. It's a show. Stop focusing on minuscule little shit. Stop focusing on podcasts. We're idiots. What do you care? Like, seriously, you think that your response on Twitter is going to garner this massive reaction where it's like, oh my God. And by the way, everyone that's like, oh, she ate here. All she did was say, nuh-uh. That's not like evidence. It's like proof. Trust me, bro. Like, that was the extent of it. Like, just be tougher. Everyone, be tougher. I'm so done with it. I'm done.
Done.
Anyway, we move on and we get the show. And this is what's so funny about Jen, because she wants to try to play both sides and venture out. She's sitting at Melissa's show and she's like, did she design these clothes? Or, oh, she didn't? Oh, that's funny. She didn't do anything. Haha, and takes a dig at her in a confessional. It's like, wait,
What are you trying to do here?
I don't know. And she's like, oh, you notice there's no male models here because, and then she brings up the cheating thing again. And that to me was
I
just,
thought that part was actually kind of funny.
I just thought, oh, even if it was,
Yeah.
in my mind, I'm like, this is just desperate.
You're
at
just
this
over
point.
it. Yeah.
It's just desperate.
Yeah. I'm still trying to nitpick as much as I possibly can for things that I actually do like because let's be honest, I'm not really in love with anybody on this show at this point.
That's fair.
So there's little moments, and if you did something really stupid 5 seconds ago, but you do something funny now, I'm gonna laugh at that. I'm
You're
gonna
trying to-
ignore the first part. Yeah,
Maybe that needs to be my.
it's tough, dude. It's really hard to do it.
Hard.
Yeah,
It's hard
Not a
because
good time.
I'm just flustered.
Yep.
For 45 minutes. Just this is stupid. This is also stupid. That's stupid.
Yeah.
But I'm gonna try to do that. That sounds like a more fun way to watch this show. It's funny because during the after show, Dolores is like, oh, everything was cordial, baby steps, but things were good. I'm like, not really, but
Not
okay.
really.
And we get to Namaste Live, and everyone shows up. They're, Feaster Feister is there. Teresa's there. And this is also another thing. It's like with Teresa. First of all, I can't stress enough how little she's done this season. I really thought about it today. Like, what has she actually done?
She's done less this season than last season. I thought last season was brutal from her.
Yeah. Like, she's bringing nothing. It's like she doesn't want to get involved with any of it
Yeah.
other than moving pieces behind the scenes. That's not fun.
No,
That's not a fun thing to
just
watch.
talking about Marge in the confessionals. It's like it's just boring. It's half-assed. I just don't care anymore.
I don't either. And she brings up Melissa. She's like, this is the good Melissa, not the bitch my brother married. I'm like, Jesus Christ, man. Come on. We get the quick touch at Kids Bop. Dad's not coming. The stepmom had eyelid surgery, which I'm not trying to make light of, but that's a funny excuse.
Yeah, he COVID last time. He's got eyelid surgery this time around. What's next?
My lobes. Got to get my lobes touched up.
They're hanging too low. I got to get
Yeah.
a little bit chopped off. You know how it goes. Just tighten it up.
got these
Tighten it up.
droopy lobes, and so I can't make it to your kid's birthday party. I'm so sorry. I'll try next time. But we're back at Namaste, and it's Jen, Jackie, Fessler, and the first thing that Jen Aydin says when Fessler walks in, she's like, oh, you look good. You should give Jackie some tips. Shut up. Boo. Boo. She's not even
Danielle.
there. Danielle, my bad.
Yeah.
Did I say Danny again?
You said Jackie.
Oh,
Completely different person.
give Danielle some tips. Still boo. Boo.
No, I agree. Yeah, I know. It's stupid.
And the whole theme of the show is finding my peace. Great, good for you. It's boring. Go find your peace on your own show or elsewhere.
She had a journal. It was her diary.
I'm about to. Oh, she read from her diary, bro. Like, what are we doing, man? I'm
But
sorry.
of course, it was about family.
That was the worst part. We'll get to that in a sec.
Stop.
But there's this whole cryptic thing of things we can't speak about right now. The court case with Louis' ex, I'll let you guys know when you can talk about it. Again, to me, it's like setting up pieces. And that's annoying. Like, just say it or don't.
Yep.
Wait until it happens and say it. Don't let us know, like, oh, we're waiting for the right time to strike here, which you already let it.
That's actually it's a little different, but in the same way, that's also what Danielle's doing to us with her dad.
Okay.
We're like, do you really need to get to the Kids Bop thing? And by the way, the Kids Bop thing, kind of funny. I actually enjoyed that.
Pretty cool.
Yeah, Kids Bop's still around. Who knew?
I think
mean,
they got to
well,
be
you
like
probably
Kids
did,
Bop. Nah, no.
No?
They got to be on like Kids Bop like 200 by now.
200 at
You
this
remember-
point,
we
dude.
were around for OG, the
Yeah.
first Kids Bop.
Bop 1.
Now that's what I call music, jock jams.
Yep.
What else was there? You know,
I mean, there was like dance mixes.
you'd
like
wake up-
Ultra dance mix, like 15.
when it was still all cable TV, you'd wake up like 3 in the morning, you fall asleep. It was like, buy this now. Sunday, Sunday, Sunday. You can still get this for 50% off. Like, that was probably the highlight of television.
No, it absolutely
those
was.
days.
That was the best.
You
And
just
you
hear
wake up
so-
in a fever dream because you've got an infomercial on for whatever, Sports Illustrated, like 60 months worth of it for $4.99.
Yeah, get it now. Celine Dion's greatest hits.
Oh, those are the best too. Barry White, you want to set the mood? Boy, do we have the disc for you.
Oh my God, I missed
God,
those
what a great
days.
time. But no, I feel like what Danielle's doing is like she's giving us this information. Like you don't have to ask Nate at the Kids Bop thing, hey, what did my dad say?
Yeah.
If you don't want to talk about it, then stop talking about it. Like, you're not garnering sympathy from us because you're not giving us any information. All we're doing now is just asking more questions.
Speculating.
So why put it out there? Same thing with Teresa. Why are you putting out the whole thing like, yeah, we know what you're doing. You're setting it up for the future, but we know it's going to fall flat. It's just, don't give us this information if we can't talk about it.
Agreed.
It's stupid.
I agree 100%. But it's good to know that Teresa's no longer mad at God. They've been feuding for a while. God hasn't said his piece yet, but we look forward to his confessional. That's deep. That just clicked.
There's a lot of layers to that
That
one.
was fucking funny. Nice job. I just high five.
Self five.
Self five. But Fessler just wants the group to move on as well. She's kind of on Dolores' team here. I mean, she's not doing as good of a job as staying neutral, but she just wants people to be able to move on. Jen will never forgive. And cue perfect timing. Danielle arrives, and it's like, oh, you okay, Jen? And Jen's clearly rattled by this, which is dumb. Like, it's
Who
just...
the hell was she talking to?
I don't know, but you see her in real... This is what gets confusing to me. I don't care who you stand with, all right? I really don't. If you're a Jen Aydin stan, fine. If you're a Teresa stan, fine. Marge, whomever, do not give a shit. Not going to come after you for being a fan of somebody. But for people to defend her as though she doesn't lie, that she doesn't stir up shit, that's where I get confused, because you see her talking to this woman in real time, lying about what happened. Everything she said did not occur.
Yeah.
She's like, she said, you effing C word. I was like, that didn't happen. She got in my face as I was trying to walk away. No,
They call you trash.
she called you
Piece of
trash. She called you dirty.
shit,
You're
dirty.
dirty. But you put hands on her first. She didn't get in your face as you walked away. That's not what occurred. And we have evidence. This stuff happens on camera. I don't know if they're aware. We can see what went down. We're watching her lie about it in real time, and people will still defend her, and they're going to say that we just hate Jen, which isn't true. Like, I'm indifferent.
We're
I
just
don't
pointing
care.
out things that did and didn't happen.
Yeah,
That we saw all together, all of us.
that's it. We all saw it. I don't know what glasses you have on to watch this show, but I don't get. That's where the comments don't resonate. Where my head hurts. I'm like, what show did you watch? Because I watched it.
They've YouTube TV has the ultimate extended director's cut.
The Ultimate Jen edition.
They slow mo.
Slow mo. Oh, yeah, maybe that's it. Maybe we need to slow down how fast we're watching it. No, fuck that. I'm going to speed it. I might go on 1.5 speed.
I've done 1.25 speed before. I'm not going to lie.
How is it?
It's perfect.
Okay, I might try that next time. But we get to the show, and Teresa's reading from her diary, as we talked about, and she talks about how family is sacred, and most people don't hold the same values, and you just have to remove those people from your life. If you're going to continue to say cryptic things about Joe and Melissa without talking about Joe and Melissa, just talk about them. If that's what we're going to bring to the table, then just say their name.
Same thing goes with Joe's speech at the wedding.
1,000%.
Same thing. Just talk about it.
Both sides of the street here.
Maybe not at a wedding. All right, I'll take that one back. But still, same thing.
Just talk about it, because that's still your both families' storyline, is the fact that their family is better than the other family now. That's what we've gotten to, which is horrible, not fun to watch. It's stupid. 10-minute break for questions. We get to the green room, and Danielle, she initiated this one because she goes to Jen, I'm shocked the cathedral didn't burn down when you walked in. Kind of funny. And Teresa just wants to fix this whole situation. I just want you guys to get along, and thank God Dolores is there to finally step in when things start getting a little bit more heated, and she says this is Teresa's night. Jen starts barking at her and says, I'm not going to make up with that trash box. She kept saying trash box. I think she thought she was onto something there. I'm not going to make up with that trash box. I'm not going to make up with that trash box.
What is a trash box?
I don't know. Is it a box you throw in the trash, or is it a box
That's what I
of
was
trash?
thinking. Yeah, I don't know which it is.
It could be a box of trash.
I think it's a whole box of trash.
That's what I gathered.
Yeah.
But it could technically be a box you throw in the
Have
trash.
we been doing trash wrong? Do we need a box?
No, you have to recycle boxes.
Ah.
We recycle around here. So it's a box of trash.
Okay.
All right.
All right.
We're answering the hard-hitting questions here. But the underlying root of this whole entire thing is Jen's insecurity with Teresa. I'm ride or die for her. Is she for me? For her to not be ride or die for me with Danielle is clearly eating away at Jen's confidence, her security, whatever you want to call it. That's really driving a wedge between her and Teresa in her own mind. Teresa doesn't care. And the funniest part, and the way that she said it, I don't know if she meant to say it this way, but 100% I took it exactly how she said it was the intention. I won't make you make up with her, is what Teresa said to Jen about Danielle. And I firmly believe if Teresa went up to Jen behind closed doors and said, look, I need you to squash this and move on, we need her on our team, Jen would do it.
Yeah, 1,000%. And I don't know. Obviously, the Melissa secret meetup for lunch kind of happened away from Teresa. Teresa's going to, quote unquote, show support and say, be friends with whoever you want to be friends with. But she's going to think her own things, obviously. So that could be playing into it. I really don't know. I had no problems. It's funny because the walking into the cathedral and the cathedral burning down, didn't really care for that. Completely out of line. But I did like when Danielle was leaving and said, by the way, you look like shit. That's funny. Because if you have beef with somebody, I'm sorry, but like people are going to point to that line and be like, oh, that was too much. That was extra. It's like,
classless.
No, if you have beef with somebody and you hate them, and I truly believe that Danielle probably hates Jen right now.
Did you see the confessional where she goes, this is all the things I would say to her?
Yeah, 1,000%. So that is well in line with what I would do probably. By the way, you look like shit.
Yeah,
Funny.
that's funny.
Good. And then you walk out.
Yeah, it was a funny line, and it worked. It
Yeah.
got her riled up. Now she's barking at Teresa, her quote-unquote ride or die, or she rides or dies for her. So I think that will be something that I can look forward to, is how those two, Jen and Teresa, move forward.
Yeah.
If they
Especially with
move
Dolores
forward.
getting in the middle too and barking back at Jen, getting her out of the way.
Yeah, she said, don't talk to her like that.
Yep.
Don't talk to her like that, because she was getting, and she's like, oh, quickly reels it in when she realizes she's yelling at her, I don't even know what to
Quote-unquote
call
best
her,
friend,
her mentor.
sort of.
Who knows? Whatever the fuck that relationship is. But that was the funniest part when she does reel it in very quickly. She's like, oh God, I'm so sorry, Teresa. I love you. But I'm just curious because now you're trying to mend things with Melissa. You took a dig at her own fashion show.
Mm-hmm.
She's going to see that. She's not going to be tight with you anymore. You're questioning your relationship with Teresa. Where are you going to land, Jen?
Who else do you have?
Nobody.
A couple of hairdressers that she talks to. That's about it.
The hairdressers don't even know the story they're supposed to tell. Lena or Lina, whatever the hell her name was, she forgot her
I
lines.
love that you keep forgetting. You don't even know. It's Lena.
I don't care.
I know, but we've done this so many times, and you still go back to Lena Lina.
Lena Lina can kick rocks. Like, she's irrelevant. Who cares? And all these people like, I've heard Danielle's had all these hairdressers speak out. I don't care. I don't care. What's on TV? That's what I care about.
Yeah.
That's what we'll talk about. They're bringing nothing. If we have to sleuth our way to make this entertaining, that's a bad TV show.
Who's got the time?
Not us.
A lot
We
of
got
people.
50
Just
things
not
to
us.
watch.
Yeah.
If you want to sleuth your way to entertainment, be my guest. I want to see it.
Go
That's
ahead and
how I
do
want
it.
to do it. But let's get to questions because I'm exhausted. I'm
Aren't
not even
we all?
tired. I'm just exhausted.
Exhausted, yeah. From Tammy Nunu, I like that one. How much does Dolores dislike Jen Aydin?
I think she really despises her. I don't think she can stand Jen Aydin. That's the vibe I get.
Yeah, I feel like what we know of Dolores and like how she is as a person, Jen Aydin does not seem like somebody that Dolores would get along with ever. From J Bay the Hut 713.
I like that one.
Have y'all noticed we don't have a personal storyline from Jen Aydin, i.e., her family life?
You know,
Yes.
yeah, but I can't fault her alone because we don't have personal storylines from the majority of the cast. So that's just kind of part of my issue with everybody.
Yeah,
But yes, you're not wrong.
agreed. From Jazane, another episode. Jackie doesn't have Evan by her side. Do you think he's over the show? Yeah, I think so.
I think he's big time over the show, yeah. I think she's grasping on for dear life, and he's like, I'm done.
From Sharnik 1, why do you think Dolores came after Jen for how she spoke to Teresa, but Dolores didn't say anything when Rachel Fuda was yelling at Teresa? That's a good question.
That's a good question. Maybe because she's known Jen Aydin longer and knows what's going on, whereas Fessler, I don't know how close Dolores is with her or how long she's known Fessler for, so maybe that's a separate...
Fuda.
Maybe with Fuda, Dolores doesn't know her as well, and so she's letting those two air it out, whereas Jen, she's known her for a while. She knows the relationship between Jen and Teresa, and she's friends with Teresa and knows how Jen operates, so maybe she felt more comfortable stepping in there because Dolores won't get involved if she doesn't have to or doesn't feel the need to, so maybe she didn't feel the need to with Fuda.
Yeah, no, I would agree with that. Or Dolores is getting to the point towards the end of the season now where she's starting to get fed up with everybody, and that's what we saw in that confessional, talking about how everybody's kind of pitted against each other, and maybe she's just done with it and she just wants to get involved. But
I think that's it.
Could be that. And then we've got 2 questions here. We'll do these as the ending questions. They're basically the same thing. From RL Blum 711 and Marissa and Palma. Essentially, both of them are saying, would you salvage any of this cast or reboot entirely like the new RHONJ? RL Blum says, thoughts on recasting but keeping Fuda and Danielle and adding their friends.
I think you could argue for Fuda and Danielle just because they're newer. I think the issue will always be anybody tied to the original cast will always garner, let's get the original cast back. And I think, look, personally, take a pause for over a year, rethink things, and see if you can come up with maybe getting that old cast of some of them or just rebooting the entire thing. But here's the problem you're going to run into no matter what you do. New cast, reboot, people are going to get mad that it's not the OGs, even though everybody's hating this show right now. If you only bring back certain people, people are going to be pissed off you didn't bring back their favorite. Like, I don't know how you move forward. I think that that's where they're at, too. I don't know if they know what the best move is. I'm curious to see what they do.
Yeah, I agree with you. I think the best move right now is to at least put it on pause. Yeah, I think the best move right now is to definitely put it on pause and at least reassess. Now, you could get to the point where you have some of the OGs, you bring back some old people that used to be on the show, you get rid of a few duds here and there, whatever. Me personally, I think you just scrap everything. Just get rid of it all and then bring it back with new people. There's no shortage of housewives in Jersey that would love to be on the show, as we saw with Danielle and Fuda coming last year. A little more prepared. Fuda was a little more prepared after watching all of this. But yeah, I think you have to get rid of it all. You can't keep, especially newbies, you can't keep people that were attached to the original cast. It's just not going to work.
Yeah, just redo it. Start over. See what you got. Who the fuck knows? But it's not good.
Not good.
It's not good. But don't forget to sign up for Brav Bros members if you have not. We have our next exclusive episode dropping on Wednesday. I believe we are recapping Bridesmaids, which I am super excited about. One of my faves. It's a great movie. Pete Kristen Wiig. And, you got Maya Rudolph in that. There's an exceptional cast. Exceptional movie. So looking forward to that. So if you want to join in on the fun and our community Zooms once a month, and updates from the Bros Weekly, make sure you sign up. The link is in our bio on Instagram, or you can scroll down to the bottom of this episode and click that. $5 for the month, $50 for the year. Other than that, you got anything else?
Nope.
Well, Brav Bros are out of here.
Later.